I am showing you how I create a vertical video. This is what my screen looks like after I've recorded something. So I'm assuming you have already done that. If you haven't done this, just go to the record menu and then click on camera to capture your camera and then hit record into script. And once you do that, you should see something that looks like this. The first thing I usually have to do is sync my audio and video. So to do that, I'm going to right click on this and choose detach audio, but I've already done that here. I'm just going to go and edit that sequence. That shows you the video and the audio together. I'm hitting the command key to zoom in and out of this video here. And you'll see that over here at the top, I created a clap just to sync my audio and my video. So I'll just scoot that over to this area and then I'll hit studio sound here to clean up my audio and then hit done. Once I do that, I've got a synced clip and now I can start applying the templates. So this is what I would edit. If you go to underlord, I usually do shorten word gaps. That'll get rid of any sort of extra spaces like this one right here automatically. And then I'll say shorten all. You can tell it the amount of time that you want to shorten to. So anything longer than 0.4 seconds will be shortened. You can change that. I think 0.4 seconds works really well for me. So I'm going to hit shorten all. You can see that it made the clip shorter. The next step would be to remove retakes. So I'll go back to underlord and hit remove retakes. If I ever had to start speaking again, remove retakes, and I'm going to say remove ignored text from script. That gets rid of all that. And now I have the clean scene where you can start applying the different templates to. There's a lot of templates. I'm going to go into the scene. You can see that I have this LI vertical video already chosen here. I think the first time you run it, it will be showing the gallery, which has all the default DeScript templates that you can use. And you can choose to save templates in either the private tab where only you will see them, or in your drive where anybody else in your company can also see the templates. And once you get into that, you can see the layouts in that template, right? And you'll see that there are 4 different layouts. One for the starting title, one for the nameplate right after that, one for the main content, and one for the ending logo. So I'm going to choose the one for main content. And it's very critical that you don't create scenes quite yet, because if you create a scene, it'll apply that layout only to that scene. So here you could see that it did the entire scene, and now my fancy captions are everywhere in my projects. You could see there in the right font, in the right place. And the LinkedIn Learning logo is also there. For some reason, it's only lasting this long. So I'm going to expand that over to take over the rest of the section here. And now I'm going to zoom into this beginning area. I notice that there's a little bit of an extra piece here that it just cropped out because it was an empty space. So I'm just going to delete it and I'll start right here. Now, sometimes you'll see that it hides one of your layers here. So I'm going to click on show layer to show that layer, right? So for whatever reason, it hides the layer. And you can see my video is sitting right there. I need to make sure that video is covering the entire vertical layout. So I'm going to select it. You got to be careful because there is a darkening vertical gradient right on top of everything. So I'm going to scoot this over, make sure that I'm in this video, and then hit the position button and select fill scene editor. It's going to make that fit the layout. And at this point, you may want to center it a little bit better. Sometimes it's not really well centered. So I think it actually looks pretty good there. But if you want to center it, you can double click on this and then you can drag this in there. And then I'm just going to double click over here to get out of that view and put my darkening gradient. You can see that it gives you a nicer dark background right here. For the next part, usually I start creating scenes where I want to do different things. So if I say something like vibing is the future of collaboration, that's going to be my first scene. And then the next scene will be this other one. And that starts, but doesn't end with coding. I usually like to carriage return these different pieces. That doesn't make a different scene. Scenes are made with this slash right here. And so I want there to be another scene right here. Notice that it says 1 right here for one scene. And I'm going to hit the slash again. And now that creates a second scene. And that means that I can have a different layout in this first scene than in the rest of the project. So now I'm going to come over here and then I'm going to apply another layout. So for this one, I'll choose starting title, and that brings in the rest of the items. Again, for some reason, it hides the sort of picture. So I'll turn that on again. and you'll see that now the fancy captions have been scooted over because that's part of the other layout. And you'll see a bunch of different sort of pieces of text right here, which you can just edit. So you could just double click on these and edit them to whatever you want them to be. There's the vertical logo. It should stick through the entire project all the way almost to the end. So now I need to create another scene. And that scene will have my nameplate. And you could go to a section here and just hit the slash, or again, you could do it here from the text area. I just hit the slash there and leave it. But for me, I like to see them in a new line. Then I'll put my cursor somewhere in this current scene and come back here and select the nameplate scene. It'll add those items. You may need to scoot over the fancy captions here so that they start appearing. It's up to you, like where those appear. Again, we'll have to show this thing up. I got to figure out how to make it not do that. And then you can see you've got this sort of text, then this animation, and then that goes away. And you get into just the regular fancy captions. The logo remains on screen. If you ever want to move something up and down, you can click on these and you can right click and change the order. So I think you go layer order, and there are little commands. I usually use these up arrow bracket to bring things to the top or bottom. So if for some reason you want this logo to be at the top, you can just hit those and that will change the order of these. Everything else should be the same. Then at the end, I want like that logo to appear. So somewhere at the end, I will add like another scene here. And then I want to bring in that last template, which is just the ending logo. The ending logo is just really a graphic. So looks like it's not bringing it in. Let's see what happens if I pick this other last bit of section here and I try applying that again. It might be that it doesn't have a video, but there it is. It actually did come in just fine. Now, this new design has this transitions feature, which I think is a little bit annoying sometimes. So notice that it's darkening the beginning, and it didn't need to do that. It just needs to go from here and do a hard cut to the blue kind of background. So I need to fix that. Here, I'm going to delete the ending smart transition. And then here, I'm going to delete the beginning. Now the beginning smart transition. And that should be your entire project. You can do, obviously, there's some editing that you need to do here.
Is the future of AI collaboration, and that starts, but doesn't end with coding. Normally, for a typical project.
So that's how I apply templates.